Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Foreside Spotlight Series. My name is John Vekich. I'm a managing director at Foreside. I run our business development area, and I'm really excited to be here today. Our discussion today is with Carolyn Armitage, managing director of ECHELON Partners. They are a leading investment bank and consulting firm to the wealth and investment management industries. Ms. Armitage helps CEOs make better informed strategic planning decisions, improve their enterprise value, and design the proper legacy. With a strategic and holistic approach to each engagement, Ms. Armitage provides valuation, expert witness, management consulting, and investment banking services. For mergers and acquisitions, she is an influential woman who understands the complexities of wealth and asset managers and offers an objective perspective, advice, and implementation guidance. Ms. Armitage's area of expertise include transaction advisory services, mergers and acquisitions with an emphasis on founder-owned businesses, corporate and family office governance, strategy, and succession planning. Ms. Armitage's experience includes roles as an independent financial advisor, a producing branch manager, and the head of multiple wealth management teams such as HD Vest, ING Advisors Network, and Cetera, among others. In addition to holding numerous FINRA licenses, she also holds the CFP and CIMA designations. She has a Bachelor's of Science in Business Administration from the University of Minnesota and a Master's in Management from the American College. Carolyn, welcome to the Foreside Spotlight Series.
Thank you, John. It's a pleasure to join you and the folks on the call today. Foreside's RIA platform of legal services, compliance consulting, and technology solutions are really a terrific complement to ECHELON's lineup of consulting services.
Yeah, we're very excited to have you here today, and it's going to be a really fun discussion. Obviously, the benefits of our series is that we're able to deliver a clear understanding about a company, and one that may not get really translated very well through a website. And what we really want to do is deliver a timely illustration within the industry. So I'm really looking forward for our conversation and for you to share our message with the listeners. Now, we'll get to ECHELON in a moment, but I really want to start with a bit of a personal or individual note. Looking at your background, and we've talked about this before, you and I are both originally from Minnesota. I'd love to hear how you started out in the industry and what brought you to where you are today.
Yeah, thank you, John. So I love problem solving, helping people, and math. So my path for this career actually started way back in elementary school in second grade. My older brother said that if I cleaned his room, he would teach me how to multiply and divide. I was 6 years younger than him. I didn't know any better, so I didn't like cleaning, and I still don't today. But the ability to learn something new was really motivating, and it was enough for me to give it a go. So I fulfilled my end of the deal. My brother fulfilled his end of the deal, and I picked up on the concepts of the multiplication and division so quickly that when third grade rolled around, I was top of my class and progressed through all the advanced math courses really throughout my entire education. So along the way, as I was growing, I was a Girl Scout and I had the opportunity to help people. And I discovered sales skills by being a top seller of Girl Scout cookies. So it was a really natural extension for me to become a financial advisor from the sales training, the helping people aspect, as well as the mathematical foundation that I had. So after building a successful business in Minnesota, a family move landed me in Dallas for about 7 years stopover. And there I became a multiplier and builder of other advisors' businesses. And then California came calling with a terrific turnaround opportunity. And so I've spent decades starting, growing, and merging organizations and call California my home. And it's been well over 20 years, and I absolutely love it here.
That's great. Appreciate that. And I'm sure it's nice to be out of the cold weather. So happy to have you here today and happy that you're in Southern California. So Let's start with the big picture. I'd love to hear a little bit more about ECHELON, the various divisions that encompass the firm, and how you go to market.
Yeah, absolutely. So the ECHELON group consists of several firms and brands. ECHELON Partners is what we market most often, and that's how we offer valuation and consulting services. We have two brands there, RIA Valuations and RIA Successions. They're simply brands of our services, not separate entities. ECHELON Capital Partners is a separate entity, and it's our legal independent broker-dealer for our investment banking business. Our foundation is really in research, so our RIA M&A deal report is offered annually, and there's quarterly updates each and every quarter. And then the last box on the bottom left is our DDM Summit, which stands for Deals and Dealmakers Summit. This is held annually, bringing together buyers, sellers, and all the support resources RIAs need for M&A, whichever side of the transaction you're on.
A little bit like a matchmaking service almost.
And not quite. So we don't want to really facilitate deals at the event. It's a high-end educational event.
Wonderful.
With resources available so that you can network.
Got it. That's really helpful. So looking at the team, you've got a very seasoned team. Maybe you could give an overview of the team members and some of the backgrounds that they have.
Absolutely. So Dan Siebert is our founder. He began his career in research and then moved into private equity. And at one point, he had the courage to venture out on his own and start our investment bank, ECHELON Capital Partners, to serve the RIA marketplace back in 2001. Mike Wonderly came from the Wirehouse channel, so we essentially have all three channels of wealth management covered between the RIAs, the wires, and I spent the majority of my career at independent broker-dealers building out their RIAs. Barnaby Audsley was actually just promoted to a vice president, and he comes from a long family line of investment bankers. Sam Spire joined us 2 years ago, right out of Boston College, and he's been the most amazing analyst. In fact, we just promoted him to associate. And then Andrea does the marketing for the organization and helps coordinate that Deals and Dealmakers Summit that we do.
Great. Thanks for that overview. So as you know, we have a very broad client base, but I'm guessing most of the folks that will be listening into this spotlight are our investment advisor clients. It would be great if you could share with us some of the characteristics of the firms that you serve and maybe get into the detail of the value that can provide. I'm sure that would be interesting for the listening audience.
Yeah, absolutely. So the Pareto principle is something that really applies to our business in that the vast majority of folks that we work with are the 20% of the industry. So it's fewer in number, but they do control 80% of the assets, the revenue, and the profits generated in the industry. And so, John, really our client base is aligned in that the vast majority of our clients are either fee-only RIAs or hybrid RIAs.
Excellent. So what I'd like to do now is go into a little bit more about the service offerings that you have, the three verticals that are shown here on this slide. Would you please give a brief overview of each and how you can help your clients?
Yeah, certainly. So we have three major offerings. Investment banking is where we advise advisors on selling their firm, taking them to market, and the execution of the transaction. There's buy side, and we incorporate other RIAs, and of course we do mergers as well. Our consulting services range from helping CEOs make better informed decisions through strategic planning consulting and attract and retain the best and the brightest with compensation and equity sharing structuring, and then help them with the decision and implementation of internal and external succession planning. Oftentimes, an advisor may not know which is right for them and their organization. So a lot of times we're hired to help them go through what the paths look like and what their options are so that they can make a better informed decision. And then the last bucket, if you will, is the valuation work. So we do valuation as well as expert witness services, and these are needed for many projects that executive teams are looking to accomplish. So I'm essentially putting all those math fundamentals that I learned from my brother to use on a day-to-day basis, you could say.
Exactly. And not having to sell Girl Scout cookies anymore either, which is great.
No, I'm more a buyer of those now.
There you go. So just a quick side question as we're into this slide. I think people have seen that there's been a lot of activity in the space. There continues to be more and more deals. Are you still seeing that trend? Is it continuing to trend upward? Are you seeing a leveling off? Maybe give a sense of what the market is today for transactions and the appetite for them.
Yeah, we have a very robust market, and with the potential for capital gains taxes to be increased, especially for those making $1 million or more, the number of requests and deals going on this year seems to be escalating much more than it was in 2020, as many folks would actually like to close by year end, hoping to take advantage of low capital gains rates compared to what else may be in the future. So as of the first quarter of 2021, we recorded 76 deals that occurred. And if you add in April, we're well over 90. So we are on pace to do about 255, maybe even more. So if folks aren't subscribed to our RIA M&A deal report, if they want to reach out to me, I can add them to the list, and they'll be getting the update of the deal data each and every quarter.
Perfect. And I did see a copy of that recently, and it's very, very robust and very informative. So if you, as a listener, are interested, certainly reach out to Carolyn. We'll get the contact information out here shortly. I really like this next slide to kind of go through how you really help a firm and how it really goes along this glide path. So maybe spend a few minutes talking about how people come into the firm and the value that you can provide throughout the life cycle.
Love to. So this is one of my favorite slides. I use it often, both with prospects and clients, helping them through the spot they're on through the life cycle. So we provide services to advisors on all their stages, from a breakaway broker leaving a wirehouse, a G2 advisor seeking to start their own firm, throughout all their growth phases as they need to evolve, and also through the maturity phase. Ideally, they would come to us and we would help them sell their firm before their growth starts to decline. So at the top, you see where there's maturity with a light blue aqua point and then liquidity event planning and selling. Ideally, you would sell at that point instead of after the firm's on the decline. A lot of advisors don't recognize that. They end up plateauing for a while, and then through distributions that their client takes, the lack of proactive marketing, their growth declines as well as their assets and revenue. Given the robust bull market that we've been on and this expansion market for the last 11 years, it's a really good time if somebody's looking to retire. This is an excellent time to consider that. And so with each interaction, we really help founders and owners optimize their firm to be able to perform at the level that they're comfortable with while maximizing its value. A client recently asked me to help him find his joy again, as oftentimes owners will get burdened by their very own success and they don't always have time or the know-how to really break through to that next level. So that's where we are the advisor's advisor.
Yeah, that makes sense. And it's really compelling to see that, hitting where that maturity arc is and not waiting too long and obviously not, selling too soon. It's always a little bit of an art and a little bit of a science in there and figuring out where that top point is. I'm sure that's a value that you can provide to guide them in that space.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So one of the things we want to talk about, there's a lot of firms out there that do, bits and pieces of what you do. But maybe we can talk about how you and your services compare to some of the other players in the market and the fact that you're more of a full service offering. Can you talk a little bit about your differentiation?
Love to. So ECHELON works exclusively in the wealth and investment or asset management industries. We do have a little tiny bit of wealth tech as well from those that we know in the industry who have created offshoots, technology companies. Our focus is really wealth and asset management, and that's all we focus on. When you consider all the regulations, the compliance requirements, the complicated compensation structures, specializing only in this niche allows us to have a depth and knowledge and network industry contacts that's unrivaled by any Wall Street firm. And there's many in this space that will call themselves M&A consultants. They're not actually investment bankers. They don't have the proper FINRA licenses to process a transaction. So the M&A consultants really operate more as recruiters. It just sounds much better to call yourself an M&A consultant.
Right, and the fact that you do have a broker-dealer and have that experience, that certainly lends itself to really that full suite of services that you have.
Exactly.
The next slide really just kind of goes over some of the recent transactions. Anything you want to highlight here, or just maybe a case study that would be interesting for the group to hear about?
Oh gosh, there's so many interesting stories inside of all of these firms, quite frankly. I think what this is a good representation of is that we can work with firms that are smaller, call it 200 million in assets or a 2 million revenue base, to firms that are multi-billion dollars. I do think one of the really interesting trends out there today is that we have helped firms move from that independent contractor model into what I call a firm model, whereby instead of having the advisors own their own book of business, they own a portion or a slice of the firm, and that creates a better value for the individual advisors as well as the original owners of the RIA. And so it's enlarged the pie for everyone. And those are really fun transitions to do because it's so transformational.
Right, and that model then also allows more size and scale for those people as well as not burdening some of the day-to-day stuff that they would normally have to do. So that makes complete sense.
Absolutely, and they attract the best and the brightest advisors in the industry too. It's a win-win for all of them, and it aligns their interests. Yeah.
Exactly. No, that makes complete sense. So we want to be sensitive to people's time, and I know you're very busy, so we'll wrap up here with just a couple more questions. Any advice that you would give the firms that are looking into using services that you offer? What's the best way for them to, start the process? How can you best be of assistance to them?
Absolutely. So I think the best thing for them to do is to reach out and see if they're ready to get started and see if we're a good match. Oftentimes advisors reach out and let me know kind of where it hurts in their business, right? Mm-hmm. What's keeping them up at night, what some of their aspirations are, and what they've done already to try to solve it and where they get stuck. And so then we'll discuss the project and see if we can help them get there and share out what lies ahead and what those trade-offs are of the different paths that they could choose. I would offer this up to any of your clients that have an interest. We can set up a 1-hour confidential call to discuss their situation. And
Perfect.
so I think we have my contact information here. My email address is Carmitage, like C Armitage, at echelon-partners.com. And then my office number is there. I am still working from home to avoid the LA traffic. It's kind of nice here. So you're welcome to call my cell. It's 310-948-8912. And you're welcome to follow me on Twitter and LinkedIn as well.
Wonderful. Wonderful. That's great. And for anybody listening that needs this information, we can certainly send it out to you afterwards. You can reach out to your sales or relation management counterpart at Foreside as well. Carolyn, we really appreciate you and ECHELON as a strategic partner. I know we're a few months into this relationship, and we feel really good about the value that you're able to provide our clients, and we're hoping that this is a great springboard to future opportunities where we can work together. So I really appreciate your time. I know that you're busy, but I think it was really valuable for everybody to hear your perspective, a little bit more about the firm and how you can be helpful. So thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us today, and have a great day.
Thank you, John. It was a pleasure.
Take care, everybody.
Bye-bye.